So I really hope you guys enjoyed that story about Caillou and his adventure with his grandma to go bird feeding. So I have a little bit of an adventure and an activity for you to do that has to do with science and birds. So if you have some binoculars, feel free to get them out and put them to use. I have these ones sitting around the house. If you do have some, there will be little circles on one side and larger circles on the other side. The littlest circles are the ones that go over your eyes, and most binoculars can be adjusted so that they will fit the distance that your eyes are away from each other. So you'll probably need to adjust them to make them a little bit smaller than they already are. And then you can look through those binoculars, and you can also adjust the focus. So if you look closely at your binoculars, you will probably see some dials on them that you can turn and spin, and that will help adjust the focus of your binoculars. So what you're going to be using them for? Well, if you have access to a printer, you can print this sheet out. If you don't have access to a printer, don't worry. You can also just draw 3 large boxes, and you're going to be taking some observations about a bird. So you can either go out onto your deck, into your backyard, look out a window, and look to see and watch if you can find some birds. If you're having trouble finding some birds, first of all, if it's pouring rain, you might not be able to see them when it's pouring rain out. So you'll want to wait till the rain subsides a little bit. And first thing in the morning is also a really good time to see birds. So I've noticed since the weather has been getting a little bit warmer, I'm starting to hear a lot more birds chirping and flying around close to my house. And I really hope that you are too. And that's really what inspired me to get a little bit more curious about birds. So you have this sheet that you can print off, or just draw 3 boxes on your own. You can take a look at it on a computer or an iPad or a phone if you would like to open up the link to the actual sheet, and then you can just kind of replicate it on a sheet of your own paper. So in the first box, you're going to write the word appearance. Say that with me. Appearance. Appearance. That is what the bird looks like. So you can write things about how big it is, what color it is, if you notice there's multiple colors on the bird, if it has feathers or a long tail, anything that you notice about what the bird looks like. So if you were going to describe to somebody what you saw, what would you write down about that bird? The second box is called habitat. Say that one with me too. Habitat. Habitat. That is where the bird lives. So wherever you see your bird, whether maybe you're able to go for a little walk with your family, making sure that you adhere to all the social distancing and that you're safe and you're not out and around anywhere with a lot of traffic or cars, and you're with people that are there to keep you safe. But if you can go for a walk, or whether you look out your window or off your deck or maybe in your backyard, you want to write where you see that bird. So are there any trees around? Is the bird on the grass? Are they in a tree? Are they in some kind of a bush? Is the bird near a flower? Maybe the bird is up in a tree and you can see a nest. What do you see that is around that bird? What kind of environment and what kind of place is that bird either living in or wherever you see it doing whatever it is doing? So you want to write some things to describe the habitat. Habitat is where the bird lives. The final box is what else did you notice? So on this section, you're just going to write down things that you notice about the bird. So maybe you notice that there are multiple birds around. Maybe there's a bunch of the same kind of bird or what looks to be the same. Maybe there's different types of birds. Maybe the bird's all by itself and you want to write that down. Maybe you notice that the bird is flying. Maybe you notice that it is hopping around on the ground. Maybe you notice it's going from flower to flower. Whatever you notice that that bird is doing, it could be something funny, it could be something really neat, maybe it's eating. What is it eating? So anything that you happen to see that bird doing, or just notice about the bird in general. So you can really write down anything in there. And I do, again, have some vocabulary words at the bottom of the sheet for you to take a look at. So some of them you will probably recognize, and some of these words might be a little bit new. So I have large and small, so you can use that to describe different things, whether it's about the bird or part of the bird, or something to do with where the bird is, or something else that you notice. I also have beak and feather. So does everyone know what the beak is on a bird? Yeah, that's right. That's what you see coming out of its face, and it's a beak that really works as both the nose and the mouth on the bird. So that's how the bird eats its food. So the beak is on that front part of the bird's face. So sometimes you might notice that the beak is a certain color, or maybe it's big or small or long. However it is, if you can get close enough to that bird or use your binoculars to describe it, that's awesome. Feathers. Most birds have feathers. So maybe you notice something specific about those feathers. You could write something about them in the appearance, maybe something about what you notice. That's another option for you. Color, wings, claws, and tail. So those are all other things that are part of the bird's appearance and what the bird looks like. So those might be words that you might use when you describe the bird's appearance. Nest, tree. So some birds build nests, and sometimes they build nests in trees. So maybe you might see some trees around to describe your habitat, or some nests around, and you might want to put that in with your habitat, or maybe something that you notice. Fly, plant. So any plants around, that could also go into the habitat. And if the bird's flying, that might be something that you would write in what you notice. Few, many, pointy, round can all describe different things. I think you've seen those ones before. Quick, slow, high, low. Also things that can describe what the bird is doing, or maybe what the bird looks like, where its nest could be, different things in its habitat. Then we have habitat, smell, bunch, and single. So bunch and single is how many of those birds are around, or maybe how many trees or bushes or different things you could describe. Smell, if there's any kind of a distinct smell that you notice. And habitat, we already looked at, that was the second box. Habitat is where the bird lives. So you can absolutely describe that. So your big ones are appearance, what the bird looks like, habitat, where it lives, and then other things that you notice. And you can use that to describe your bird. So I hope you have a lot of fun with this, and I hope you are very observant. Take your time, pick a bird that you can view with a little bit more detail, so not one that's flying by really fast, maybe one that stops in your yard or somewhere near you so that you can see it. And try to be as detailed as you can. Try to get 2 or 3 different things in every single one of those boxes to tell us a lot about your bird. And if you would like to take a picture and upload it to FreshGrade, or email it, or text it to Miss Lacerte and myself, we would love to see it. Have a lot of fun looking at birds. Enjoy.